Hello humans! Today I'm going to be showing you all how to crochet your very own little bee. So yeah, let's get into the materials that you'll need. Starting off with yarn. For my yellow I'm using Yarn Bee in the color mustard. For my black yarn I am using again Yarn Bee in the color black. For my white yarn I am using probably a Bernat blanket yarn. I'm not 100% sure. You will also need stuffing as well as safety eyes. I'm not sure what size these are, but I would just go off of what looks best. And for this, I am using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. I believe that is all, so let's get into crocheting. Alright, to start making our little bee, we are in our yellow yarn, we are going to make a slip knot and then chain 2. So that's just 1 and then 2. And if you count 1, 2 in the second stitch from the hook, you are going to do 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so now we have got our little magic ring. If you want to use a stitch marker, go ahead and place that in now. I'm not going to use one just because I don't usually. Okay, now we are going to do 5 increases. So starting off, so that's 1, and 2 increases. Now I need to do 3 more to end up with 5 increases. Okay, so I forgot to mention that the last stitch of your increases is going to be a color change. So that means you'll just do half of your stitch. So that means right before you finish your stitch, when you have 2 loops on your hook, that is when you want to stop. So now we're going to take our black yarn, and that is what we are going to finish the stitch with. So I'm going to take it, loop it around my hook, and then pull it through to finish that stitch. Alright, so now I'm going to pull my yellow yarn tight just to make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, now with my black yarn, we are going to do 11 single crochets. And that last single crochet, we're going to leave just half done, like we did, so that we can color change back to yellow. So again, that is 11 single crochets. Okay, so I've just finished my 11 single crochets, and now I'm going to flip our little bee right inside out. So now you should have your 11th single crochet ready to color change. And now we are going to grab our yellow yarn here and finish this stitch. And I'm just going to pull the black yarn tight to make sure that it's nice and secure. Okay, now we are going to do 11 single crochets. And yet again, leave the last single crochet half done so that we can have another color change. Alrighty, so I have finished my yellow 11 single crochets, and now I am going to add on our eyes. Okay, when I add the eyes, I want to make sure that, I want to make sure that where the color changes are is on the bottom, so that hopefully you won't have to see it. And when I put in the eyes, I want to make them as far to the side as possible without actually being in the black. So I put that one there, I'm gonna line this one up and place it right there. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna pop the backs on these and then we will keep crocheting. Alright, again, we are going to take our black yarn and finish the yellow stitch with it to complete our color change. And again, I'm going to pull my yellow yarn so that the black is secure. Okay, now we are going to do 11 more single crochets. Alright, those 11 single crochets are done and I have my last stitch ready for a color change. So this will be the last color change of our piece. And again, we're going to take our yellow yarn, finish our crochet stitch with it, and pull the black yarn tight. Now before I cut this black yarn, I want to do at least one round of yellow to make sure that it's nice and secure and will stay. So with our yellow, we are going to do one decrease. And I am just doing a regular decrease. If you'd like, you can do an invisible one. And then after our decrease, we're going to do one single crochet. We are going to repeat this pattern a total of 3 times until we reach the end of our round. Okay, now that I'm done with that, I'm going to cut the black yarn as well as the yellow yarn. And I'm going to, oh, that was lightning. I don't know if you could see that, but that was pretty bright. Okay, anyway, I'm going to leave a little bit of a yarn end on the yellow so that I can sew our little bee shut. So now I'm going to pull that out. Okay, I don't know if you can hear or see that, but it's storming here. And there was just really loud thunder. Okay, sorry. So before we sew our little bee shut, I'm going to add some stuffing. And you really don't need all that much because once you put the wings on, some of that yarn will stuff it too. So I just like to leave mine really squishy. Okay, now to finish up our little bee, I'm just gonna put my hook through the next stitch, and then grab my yarn and pull it all the way through. And now I'm just gonna do this all the way around until we reach the beginning. Okay, so now I'm just going to pull my yarn tight, not too hard though, otherwise it'll break. Trust me, I've done it before. And I just need to go about one more stitch. Okay, and now I'm just gonna bring my yarn end into the little bee and kind of use it. Okay, squish it around, make sure it looks right. Now I'm gonna cut this and tuck in my little yarn end. All right, here we are with our little bee body, and now it is time to put on the wings. All right, so for your wings, you will need white yarn, and we are going to start by picking, oh, it started raining. Okay, so to start off your wings, you're going to need white yarn, and we're going to start by picking a stitch in the middle yellow stripe, somewhere in between the eyes. So about a stitch away from whichever eye, this one. So we're going to insert our stitch in, or insert our hook into this stitch. And now I'm going to take my white yarn and pull it through, just so we have a loop. And after this, I'm going to take both my working yarn and my yarn end, yarn over, and pull them both through this loop. And you want to pull it until your little yarn end comes out, and then pull both ends tight. This makes kind of a little knot so that your wing is nice and secure. All right, now we are going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And we are going to do 3 double crochets in the 3rd stitch from the hook. So that is 1, 2, 3. And to do a double crochet, you are going to yarn over, go through your stitch, yarn over again, pull your yarn through, and now you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to go through, you're going to yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Okay, so now we need to do that 2 more times, and I'll show you once more. So yarn over, go through your stitch, yarn over again, come back through your stitch, and you should have 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to yarn over once more and pull through all 3. So that was 2, and now we need 1 more. Okay, and now our little wing is almost done. So we're going to cut the yarn and leave a little bit of a yarn end so that we can do some sewing to kind of shape the wing. So I'm going to pull it all the way out. And now we're going to go through the original stitch that our wing is attached to and pull our longer yarn end through. Okay? And now I'm going to go through the highest, well, not the highest, but this little corner of my wing. I'm going to go through that with my hook, take my yarn end and pull it all the way through. And now just make sure it's nice and tight. And then we get this cute little circular bee wing. Alright, now I'm going to just tuck my yarn end in, and then we have to repeat the same thing for the other wing. Okay, now for our other wing, we're going to do the same thing we just did. Go for the eye, 1 stitch over, and then go all the way back and go through that stitch on the bee. You could also do your wings farther apart like I did on this one. I just like the look of them closer together. Okay, so again, we are going to take our yarn and pull it through so that we're in a loop. I'm going to take both the working yarn. Oh. If you couldn't hear, that's more thunder. Okay, now we're going to take the working yarn and the yarn end and pull both through our loop and then pull both of them tight. Okay, again, we are going to start off with our wing by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, we are going to do 3 double crochets into the 3rd stitch from the hook. So 1, 2, 3. And I've already yarned over and go in there and pull through all 3. So that's 1, 2, and 3. All right, and again, we're going to cut our yarn and leave a little bit of a yarn end and pull it all the way out. Okay, and now again, we're going to go back through the very first stitch, pull our yarn end through, and then go into this little corner of the wing, pull our yarn end through again, pull it tight, and then go through the body, pull it down like so. And now I'm just gonna finish tucking in my ends and our little bee is done. Okay, so now our bee is done, and you could add a smile or a little stinger if you'd like, but I just want to show you all what it looks like outside right now. It is just raining out here. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah. Anyway, this little bee is done now, and here are all 3 that I've made together, and so I'm gonna go try to take some cute pictures now, and yeah. Alright, thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your bees, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.